Hello, Zoltan here from Adagio Hands, releasing stuck bodies. You have a pain, you have a discomfort somewhere in your body. It may be a minor niggle, it may be a majorly intense, searing sensation. In this video, we look at when you should go and see someone. Now, we're not talking about wider medical conditions. Of course, you should go and see your GP for those, but we are talking about those grey areas where maybe you want to wait a while, maybe you want to do some self-care and see how things pan out, because of course you don't want to be rushing off to healthcare every time you have a niggle in your body. And broadly, the structure of this video is to look at some urgent issues first, then look at what you can do with less urgent issues, some self-care, and then if that doesn't work, then when you might go and seek out some professional healthcare, such as a manual therapist. But let's start with those urgent conditions. And by the way, throughout this video, I'll be referring to some NHS services. I mentioned the GP already, maybe accident emergency, urgent care, walk-in centres, 111, pharmacist. There's a very good video somewhere up here from the NHS in 2022 talking about the role of urgent care centres, so do take a look at that, and I'll be making another video as well about the practicalities of these services. So starting with the urgent issues. So what is an urgent issue? Well, if there's been a trauma, so a crash, a fall, a collision, and after that something is misaligned, maybe a misaligned arm, misaligned leg, but of course don't forget toes, fingers, they're very important for our day-to-day living. If they're misaligned, then do go and get those seen to urgently, urgent care or accident emergency. Why? Because they will relatively quickly put the bones back into position and then they'll heal nicely. Similarly with joints, if a joint is out of position, common one is the shoulder, dislocated shoulder, or hip, knee also. If those are out of, and other joints as well, elbow sometimes. So if those are out of position, best to get that looked at as quickly as possible so that they can be put back into position and they'll heal nicely. Now, if you cannot load an area, so you might not be able to stand on a foot, or you may not be able to lift something with your arm, then again, if you just simply cannot load it, best to get that checked out urgently. It could be that the muscle or the tendon has had a tear, and imagine if those tissues are gradually coming apart, it's going to be harder and harder to bring them back together. So get that checked out, and if necessarily, those will be brought back together and stabilized so that they can heal nicely. Now, sometimes you're not sure quite what's happened. You just know that something's swollen and painful. And there, what I'd say is do some self-care on that. We'll look at the role of icing shortly. And if there's no improvement after 2 days and you're still not able to lift, you're not able to load, it just doesn't look right, then if there's no improvement after 2 days, then do go and get that checked out at some urgent care facility. Finally, if you have pain anywhere, intense pain anywhere inside your chest, inside your abdomen, inside your pelvis, or even any tingling going down into your bum, then best to get that checked out urgently. It may not be anything serious, but better safe than sorry. So that's the urgent issues. Let's now look at the non-urgent issues. So what might those be? Well, it may be a muscle niggle. You may have been exercising and pulled a muscle. Or it may be joint pain. You may wake up in the morning or at the end of the day that you have joint pain and you're kind of feeling like rubbing it. Sometimes it's more intense pain. Have you ever woken up with a crick neck where your neck, you feel you can hardly move it? Or a lower back, so intense pain in the lower back. Don't worry, 80% of the population experience intense neck pain or intense lower back pain, and I do mean intense, at some point in their lives. Provided there's nothing else going on there, that you're not dizzy, you're not having sweats, there's no bleeding, then this can be resolved with a bit of self-care and, if necessary, some ongoing manual therapy. And likewise, there's some longer term issues. If you're feeling tingling or a burning sensation in your tendons, often you'll get this in the wrist with office workers. Musicians often have something from all the playing that they do. Then again, that's not something urgent, but chances are you will need to have some manual therapy with that. And finally, any long-term restriction in movement, maybe you even know why it is, maybe it's an old injury or it's always been like that, then if you've exhausted your self-care options, if you've exhausted your stretching options, for example, then it does sound like you probably need to see a manual therapist for those. Those are the kind of non-urgent soft tissue issues that you can have a go at looking at for yourself. So what do we mean by self-care? Well, each of the issues I've mentioned there has its own protocol that I'll make further videos on those individually, but broadly, if an area is injured, if it's uncomfortable, then the first thing you want to do really is rest it. It doesn't mean don't move it completely, but it does mean take off the major load, don't keep loading it, and keep moving the rest of your body, even if you can't move that particular area, so that your whole body doesn't seize up, so that nutrients, so blood flow still goes there. If it's swollen, try some ice, try elevating the area. If you can, compress it. By the way, this is part of a protocol called RICE, rest, ice, compression, elevation. So those are some things to try, and as I say, I'll talk about those in another video. And not to forget also some hydration, some gentle stretching if it feels nice, if it feels good. If it doesn't, don't do it. And certainly no yanking around or intense stretching of an injured area. And then some self-massage as well. If it feels good to massage it, if it's not swollen, then that may be helpful for you. So rest, ice, compression, elevation, self-massage, stretching, and hydration. Make sure you're drinking enough fluids to allow all your blood to flow nicely. Nutrients come to the area, toxins, waste products go away. Now, if after 2 days, I think I mentioned before, there's absolutely no improvement whatsoever, then you want to start thinking about perhaps contacting someone for some support. It's always good to get on the GP's books if you're concerned. It may take a while, and chances are the GP, if it is a musculoskeletal issue, will refer you to manual therapy, to a physiotherapist, and that may take some time as well. So sometimes you may benefit from just shortcutting that. I know there's a resourcing issue involved in that, but you might want to shortcut that. And if after a week of self-care, there's not been significant improvement, so if after 2 days there's been no improvement at all, and if after a week there hasn't been significant improvement, I would strongly suggest you start to look for a healthcare intervention such as a manual therapist. Some people will wait for 4 weeks, some people will wait for a very long time, but I would say the optimum time scale, if you really want to get back to full functionality, is the 1 week, and then start to see someone. And if you feel that you are going to need to see someone sooner or later, do see them earlier rather than later. Why is that? Well, imagine those tissues of your body, and I'm just going to get a prop here. Have a look here. If this is your tissues, do you see that they're a little stuck together? Now, as a manual therapist, I would start to slowly prise them apart. Do you see? Pulling them apart gently, no forcing involved here. And this is something that through your regular stretching you may also be able to achieve if you haven't left it too long. But if you have left it too long, then it's going to take a significant period of stretching to start to pull apart these adhesions. So there we go. That was relatively easy. Oh, there's something just there. There we go. So if you wait for 1 week, hopefully that can be done in one session. If there's no other complications, if there's no history to that injury. If you wait for a month, it may still be one session, or it may be more. If you wait 3 months, it's going to start to take a longer program. And if you wait years, decades, then you're talking about a long-term, robust program of manual therapy and associated exercises and stretching to get your body back into balance and functionality, and also to undo all the other compensations in your body that have come about and consolidated over the course of that injury. So the 2 days, the 1 week, the absolute maximum 4 weeks, there's the timescale thresholds. Now, final word on this. If a friend asked you, because we tend to be kinder to our friends than we are to ourselves. If a friend asked you, what do you think, should I see someone? And your answer to them would be, yes, I think you should. Then why not offer the same kindness and generosity and care to yourself? Thank you for listening. I hope you found that helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. Bye for now.